talking eyeball, would you believe, with the founder of the world's first video online scouting platform. Eyeball. David Hicks is with us all the way from Prague. Hi, David. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you, Rob.
Tell me about Eyeball. What is it?
Well, it's the first platform for youth scouting, and it's a platform where we create profiles of players who are playing for all the top amateur clubs in the countries, and we film games and process data, and we make the video, the player profile, and the performance data available to professional clubs who are looking to recruit young talent into their academies. That's the primary function.
I guess you must have sort of sat down and thought, oh, there's a gap in the market here. I mean, how did you come up with the concept?
Well, the gap that was identified was the lack of video content. And we were working with a couple of young guys who are really keen footballers, and they came to us with this idea that there is an absolute dearth of video for young players. You know, when you're looking at a professional game, there's plenty of resources where clubs can go and find video and analysis and data, stats on players. But in the youth game, there's been no coordinated approach to bringing that all together. So there's bits of keen parents using their iPhones. There's a few clubs are using video cameras, but there's never been a coordinated approach to bringing all this information and video together in one central place. So that was the original idea.
Well, we'll talk more as we go. It is astonishing what you're doing. So for people who don't understand, basically you're putting cameras at sort of youth games where there is talented players, but all over the world using artificial intelligence. It's amazing what you're doing. Well,
thanks. We're trying. We're trying to raise the level of scouting for youth to the level that it's common in the professional game. But I guess for a better understanding, you need to realize that each country approaches this market differently. We started in France because it's a very well organized market, and we focused on the amateur clubs. Now, most, if not all, of the League One clubs have an academy. And of course, they've got plenty of very talented players already signed up to those academies. But there are also hundreds of really talented players, if not thousands, playing in these amateur clubs. And these can be very, very low budget entities run by keen and eager parents, well-meaning members of the community. And the level of football is in no way linked to the size of their budget. So very few of them are filming the game or have the budget to dream of buying cameras. So that's the first step. And our business is that we go to their clubs, we assess their needs, and we normally provide them with a camera system or two, a camera for their match pitch in their home ground, and a flexible solution for them to go and film their away games. And this we provide. We film the games, we upload it to the platform. The video of their games is available to the coach. So for the first time, a lot of these young players are seeing themselves on screen. And you can imagine that the coaches are really pleased and eager to use this. It's, we've had some enthusiastic feedback from many of them saying that, 20 minutes showing someone on a screen, like a defensive concept or defending a set piece is worth hours on the training grounds, because as is obvious, when you can see what you're doing wrong, it's much more obvious from a camera that's at 8 meters than when you're in your head hustling and bustling to try and win the ball. So this is the first time a lot of these players are having the ability to be coached with video as an assistant to the coach. So we take that on at our cost. We provide these cameras to the clubs free of charge. In exchange, they provide us with the rights to the games, which we can then commercialize on the platform to the professional clubs who are our clients and who are trying to fill their academies with these talented kids.
So when you fill the games, do the coaches and the scouts, do they get the full game, or can you break it down into individual players or individual moves, tackles, etc.? How does that work?
Well, the camera system captures all 90 minutes, the full game, and 180-degree view of the pitch. So we typically about 8.5 meters up on the halfway line. So we've built a VR powered video player so that you can watch the game in entertainment mode. So an AI algorithm pretends to be a cameraman, so following the game, so you can watch it like that. Because you're scouting, or if you're coaching and you want to focus on a particular activity of a player, you can deactivate that AI and zoom in manually onto a particular player and follow him using your mouse. If you're looking at it later on in hindsight, so a scout, he can, if he's identified a particular player that he's interested in, you can click on that player's profile and all his highlights will be shown on a timeline of the 90-minute game. If you then want to watch his tackles or his offensive passes, you can click on that, and those events are highlighted on the timeline of the 90-minute game. So it's very flexible. We've designed it to be flexible and work the way that scouts and coaches work.
Whereabouts do you operate? Which countries?
We started in France. That's our home nation, if you like. We're now in Denmark, Sweden, Norway, Finland, Iceland, and Ghana, Sierra Leone, Ivory Coast, Nigeria. And we are rolling out into Spain probably in January. We were hoping to be by the end of this year, but it's going to be January. We're live in Northern Ireland starting at the end of this month. We've focused on Northern Ireland because a lot of our Premier League clubs are limited in the age of player that they can bring from Europe. So there's a lot of focus on Northern Ireland right now. So we've just signed contracts with about a dozen clubs in Northern Ireland, and we'll be providing them. They've received their cameras, so we'll get the first games, I think, this coming weekend.
What kind of reaction have you had from clubs throughout Europe?
You mean the professional clubs or the amateur clubs?
Professional clubs.
Yeah, well, everyone's quite excited, to be honest. We've had no negative comments. Everyone's been very complimentary of what we've built and how quickly we've built it. We have quite an impressive client list already, a sort of who's who of European football. I'd say the only reason clubs are not joining us at the moment is because they aren't particularly interested in the countries that we're covering. So some of the smaller Spanish teams are very interested once we've deployed our system into Spain. You know, they might or might not be interested in recruiting a player from France or Scandinavia, but that's the only reason that people have verbalized for not becoming our clients. Generally, it's been really well received.
Give us a couple of names of some of the clubs that you have partnered up with.
I'd love to give you a full list, Rob, but obviously confidentiality prevents me from reeling off a list. But we do have agreements with Benfica, to mention them specifically. But if I said top clubs in Holland, Premier League, Bundesliga, you'd get a feel for who I'm talking about.
And what are the scouts saying to you? I mean, we all know that obviously player recruitment and identification is key to virtually every club. What kind of feedback have you had from the guys who actually, do the business, the scouts themselves?
Well, they're thrilled, actually. And a lot of the customers or the pro clubs that we're dealing with who've become customers are actually restructuring the way they go about their youth scouting, because Eyeball has changed the way that they can go about that process. One of the operations that is quite common, when a club have identified a potential target, they often ask 5 or 6 scouts internally to watch 5 or 6 games of a particular player independent of each other and write reports, so that they can put a file of maybe 25, 30 scouting reports together on the one player, so they get an aggregated view of this player. And of course, previously that could take months. If the only way you can write a scouting report on a player is to travel to that player's country or club and stand on the sidelines for 90 minutes and then write notes about what you saw and witnessed. If your boss wants you to do that 5 times and 4 or 5 of your colleagues are requested to do the same thing, that's an enormous cost, and it takes time. It takes an awful long time. Whereas now with Eyeball, because we have a player's every game he's played this season, if you want, you could, and he was on the database, you can see last year's games as well. So now over a weekend, if it's urgent, the head scout can ask his team to provide him 25 scouting reports by Monday morning, and that's possible, which is incredibly powerful. So it's saving the money, it's making them more efficient, and that's once they've identified a talent. Of course, finding that talent in the first place, what Eyeball is doing is just raising the horizon of where these teams can look cost effectively and efficiently.
It is amazing. What kind of reaction do you get when you rock up, or when Eyeball rocks up in Sierra Leone? What kind of reaction do you get from the local teams and the local managers?
Oh, well, they're absolutely thrilled, as you can imagine. By the time a player down there is showing some significant talent, then the dream of being scouted and transferred to Europe is what they live for. And we've been very, very appreciative of the welcome and the cooperation that they've extended. They're motivated, but not only are they motivated, they're proving very good partners, because obviously we provide the camera system and then leave effectively. We don't stay down there. We have IT support, but if they weren't helping us, cooperating, filming the games actively, uploading team sheets, it would be very difficult for us to do it. So yeah, we've been universally welcomed. Quite frankly, it's been very special.
I bet it has. I guess the proof of the pudding, as they say. Have you had any success? Have you had players from different countries moving to other countries? Have you had have you had players being signed, basically?
Yes, we believe. Eyeball doesn't get involved in any transaction. We're a sort of agnostic platform connecting clubs with amateur clubs. But of course, we do get feedback. We speak to our customers and we work with our partner youth clubs. So we believe, bearing in mind, we pretty much only went live at the start of this year, so mid-season last season. We believe about 150 players who were playing for clubs that Eyeball were filming have gone on to move to professional academies in that time. And quite interestingly, there's been players that have moved from Iceland to Portugal, for example. There's clubs on the Côte d'Azur that have recruited players from the north of France for the first time ever. We've seen players go on trial, and I think there's a transfer imminent from a French club to a leading Bundesliga club. So yes, it really is starting to work, and the professional clubs are taking some time to really realise what Eyeball can do for them and the gems that are there. But there's an awful lot of talented footballers on the platform that are still free agents, if you like. They aren't under contract and are available to professional clubs, just with their permission and the permission of their parents.
amazing. It's amazing. What I just wonder, you're obviously going to roll it out throughout different countries, I guess. I just wonder, would it be something that you could take part with women's football, something like that? Is that in the pipeline at all?
Yes, it's definitely an opportunity, and one we talk about internally a lot.
Where next? What territories have you got your eye on in terms of eyeball that you aren't in at the moment? Where are you looking at?
Well, on the list right now we have Spain, then Portugal, Holland, and Belgium. Then the plan is to roll out eastwards across Europe, if you like. So once we've got Spain, Portugal, France, then we'll look at Germany, Poland, Hungary, Slovakia, Czech Republic, Croatia. You know, we want.
Would you go into South? Would you go as far as South America?
Yes, we would. We would. Yeah, I mean, we plan to be a global platform, and that's when it's at its most powerful. We just got to be aware as a young business how fast we grow. For us to expand within European Union is much easier. If we're to go to America, and particularly Latin America, we'd need to build an infrastructure on that side of the water. But it's definitely the plan and an ambition of ours.
Are you surprised how quickly it's grown? Are you surprised by the reaction?
I am actually, yes. I mean, we thought we were onto a good thing, and we believe we've built a really good product. We've if you like, we think we've done it the right way. We've consulted with these clients. We've been out. We've spoken to an awful lot of people. We've built it to the way they would want to use it, you know, soliciting and then implementing their feedback. But still, when you go to market and you see it working, you get the plaudits from the professional clubs. You know, people are saying it's the best platform that they are using. Is the best put together, the most user friendly, the most detailed platform. That's obviously a huge compliment to the team of guys here that have specified it and are developers for building it. But then, you know, there's nothing better than seeing a young player get a professional contract. I mean, that's at the end of the day, that's what it's really all about. And that's you know, the fact that it's been so successful immediately is what has been surprising.
David, thanks for joining us. That's fantastic.
You're welcome, Rob. Anytime.